Please be something good. Purples and blues.
Hey fellow freelancers, Johnny5 Alive here, and welcome back to another Anthem news update video. We have a lot to go over today as we are recapping the entire dev live stream, outlining the end of March patch 1.04 aimed for next week. So stay tuned and let's get into it. Alrighty, as mentioned, this patch is aimed for next week, patch 1.04. The devs outlined everything in the live stream today between Jesse Anderson, community manager, and Chris Schmidt, lead system designer. So we have so much to go over today. It should be a very positive video. And I have to say, looking at today's live stream compared to the last one, I did feel a little bit more positive about it. I feel like there was a little bit more nuggets to be excited about and a lot more coverage overall. So let's get right into it. First, let's go into the new features that they talked about. The Elysian caches, which are the end of Stronghold caches where you open them up and you'll be receiving some vanity items. So the way they explain that this is going to work is there's daily trials that give keys, and those are basically legendary contracts. So one of your legendary contracts per day is basically going to give you a key. From the looks of it, we are limited to one per day. So if you log in and you and 4 friends go do this contract, you all get a key, then you beat a stronghold, then you can all open up 4 chests, and that means you're going to get 4 pieces of cosmetics. Now they said that there's about 100 cosmetics in these chests and you cannot get a duplicate, but considering you can technically only get 4 a day, that means it's going to take you 25 days to get them all. The interesting thing is they said that they're a limited time only. Ouch. I was really concerned when I heard this, and I'm also kind of thinking, what's the reasoning for this? It doesn't need to be limited time. Just leave the feature in there and let people get them and continue adding to them. Like if there's 100 items, then in 2 months from now you should add more items to it and just leave it. Why is it a limited time? And how long is that limited time? That was really concerning to me when I heard this, because if it's a limited to a month, then that means you have to play Anthem for every day of that month, and you only have 5 days that you can miss out on. If it's 2 months, then you have to play Anthem every other day. Is this a strategy to get people playing Anthem daily by saying it's limited time? Because you have games like The Division that just dropped, Satisfactory, we have that new Dark Souls style game. There's lots of good games out there right now, and they want you to be playing Anthem, so it seems like this limited time thing is a little concerning. Anyways, that is what it is. So moving on, there are changes to boss loot. You cannot start into a stronghold more than 2 minutes in. So that means you're not going to spawn at the monitor boss fight every time you go to the Heart of Rage. 1 guaranteed masterwork is still a thing on the bosses, and I believe it's still the ability masterwork, but what they've done is they've uncapped the loot rules on bosses. So before it was just like random junk and that 1 guaranteed masterwork, or yeah, the 1 masterwork. But now there's a chance for masterworks and legendaries in addition to the guaranteed masterwork, and they said that new buffed, quote-unquote buffed legendary loot is also applied to these bosses. So the amount of legendaries we're supposedly seeing in other bosses is also applied to the dungeon bosses, but it's not guaranteed. So it's still concerning to me, because I think if you beat GM2 or GM3, for God's sakes GM3, you should be getting a guaranteed legendary that's on the weapon loot pool, not just an ability, you know, that sort of thing. So you're still going to go through a whole dungeon on GM2 and 3, kill the boss, and there's still going to be a chance of complete disappointment. It'll be like, this is no different from before. I do not like the RNG because it sways way too heavily for people with luck, and it sways way too heavily for people with just misfortune. And I don't mean luck, the actual stat, I just mean pure luck. It's just way too extreme. So that's what we're probably going to end up seeing with these new Stronghold bosses, is your friend's going to be like, yeah, I got 3 legendaries off that boss, and you're like, I got nothing. And it's just I think there just needs to be something more solid there going forward. But it is what it is. Bosses now have a chance to drop legendaries, so that is a good thing. Moving on, there are some new changes to the Forge. No more loading screens. That's right, it's instant. You can get from the main menu anywhere in Fort Tarsis right to the Forge as well. And on the right-hand side of the Forge, it shows you all your equipped gear now, including components. So it's a much improved, new-looking Forge, and it's instantly accessed from anywhere, and no more loading screens. Absolutely amazing. Moving on to miscellaneous features, they said NVIDIA DLSS support is coming in the next patch. I don't know what DLSS means. I don't know that technical stuff, but at first I thought it was like the SLI, some sort of technical term for that, but that is not the case. SLI is being worked on still, and it is not coming for the next patch. Next up, they added field of view sliders for ground, zoomed, pilot, flight, and swim. And later on near the end of the stream, they mentioned that it's only for PC because it causes performance issues for consoles, and consoles are already suffering from performance already. So it is for those who needed FOV sliders, it's going to be there, and you have options for ground, zoom, pilot, swim, and flight, which is very cool. They increased the max thrusters by 20% for all javelins and reduced the overheat duration by 20%. This means you're going to be able to fly 20% longer on all javelins, and when you overheat, you're going to get your thrusters back. You're going to cool down 20% faster. This means you're going to have way more uptime than normal and way less downtime than normal by 20%. This is great overall. I quite like that. Adding more universal components targeted towards weapon and gunplay. They gave one example of a shotgun that applies acid damage after it hits 7 times in a row, which seemed a little strange because in theory you should kill something in 7 shots. So it seems a little slow, but we'll see. We'll wait and see. They're saying they think pretty much every javelin receives a buff, all their skills, but didn't really give any specifics. It was a lot of hmming and hawing, but they did kind of hint at the fact that they think the javelin skills are being buffed. So I kind of wish they were a little bit more prepared. Like, hey guys, storm skills being changed, this interceptor skills being buffed. Like, I just kind of wish they had something hard for us, but I guess we're gonna have to wait and see, and we'll review the patch notes next week. So, but they're saying that javelins are getting buffs, so that's good. Should see more masterwork embers on bosses and chests, and even additional embers overall. So they said there's a chance to get additional loot, and now embers can take that place. But my concern is there is the time that maybe an extra legendary would have dropped or an extra masterwork would have dropped. Will the ember now suddenly have a chance to take its place? Is this actually going to mess with drop rates yet again? I was a little bit concerned when I heard that in terms of the way that they worded it, because they're saying that basically there's a limited amount of items that can drop off of something, and they're saying that embers now have a chance to be in that slot, which technically, if you think about it, reduces drop rates. It reduces drop chances. It reduces your chance of a legendary or masterwork because they've added something new to the loot table of the limited items that can drop per boss and chest. Whoa, it's we're playing with fire here, guys. But it is what it is. Moving on. Increased drops from bosses is coming next week's patch, but it's only for GM 1, 2, and 3, not hard or lower. And it's additive, so clearing bosses on GM 2 and 3 should have a decent chance for a legendary. So yeah, we already covered this a little bit, but they kind of reiterated on it later, and they're saying that the boss patch, like the increased drop rate for bosses in Strongholds, is next week for sure. And I think it was Jesse was saying that basically the best way to gear now is Strongholds, which is a good thing. But again, is it worth doing Heart of Rage when you could just go smash Tyrant Mines? So I do feel like Heart of Rage should have like way better drop rates because that boss is so annoying. Or he should just be made easier. I don't know. Something needs to happen there because we're getting tired of Tyrant Mines. Colossus and Interceptor customization for the Scar style customization should be coming in this patch. So basically there was that stuff on the store for the Storm and the Ranger that kind of looked like Scar armor. And then everybody was asking, well, where's the Interceptor and Colossus versions, well, that should be coming in the next patch, so you should be able to buy that stuff from the store now. Sorting by rarity and name has been added to consumables, so that's cool. Slightly better transition when entering in and out of water, and they showed this off and it was pretty smooth, so that's cool. So another big feature, which is they were showing off in this dev stream, was the legendary missions. That's what the new content's been hinted at. All the new content was all around the legendary missions. So in my last video, I was kind of predicting that this is what they would show off, and that it is. This is exactly what they showed off, but it's not necessarily done in the way that you guys want it to be done, and it's kind of disappointing, I hate to say. So let's get into it. So it's called the Crit Path missions, and you've done these before, and they're replayable, but it's only one once per day. So like, and it's randomly picked. So they the way it works is they think it's going to be 6. They don't really have the numbers yet. So let's just say it's 6. When it goes live, the day you log in, there'll be one of those 6 missions picked for the day randomly, and you can play that one mission as many times as you want, over and over and over, but you cannot play the other 5 of 6. You have to wait till the next day, and it's going to randomly pick a new one, but in theory, it could pick the same one, because it's a 1 in 6 chance that it'll be the same. So you can't actually play through them one after the other, after the other, after the other for new content. You can basically just do it over and over again, and that really hurt my soul when I heard that, because if there were 6 new missions, it would give you 6 new things to do, and you could jump in and do them. And the fact that it's just that one, you're gonna just try it out for the day and go, okay, I'm done, and move on, and the next day you might try it out. But I think what's gonna end up happening is people are just gonna be like, I'm not even gonna bother with this anymore, because they might just get the same one as yesterday, or it's one that they didn't like. But if you could play through them all and choose which ones, that's just more content for you to choose from. The fact that it's random just, it feels so strange to me. What do you guys think? Leave your comments down below. I just didn't like the way it sounded to me. So anyways, let's continue on with more features of this. They took out the story conversations, so you won't be making any choices there, because obviously you're matchmaking into a game. During the mission, they amped up all the encounters, balanced for a full party, tuned the difficulty to just under strongholds, so it's harder than contracts and harder than free play, but not as hard as strongholds. So that's good in terms of challenge. Like I said, they believe they're coming out with 6 missions. But again, it's only 1 per day, so it's kind of like drip feeding us, and that's not the best. All the bosses in legendary missions are buffed up to be more legendary with the increased loot drops applied from the last patch. So basically, when there was an Ursix in the story mission, now it's going to be like a legendary lightning Ursix or something, some sort of named mob. So that's cool. You get to watch the cutscenes at the end of missions, but let me iterate, you have to watch the cutscenes at the end of missions. So somebody asked if they can skip it. The dev nodded, I believe so. And then somebody had to correct him with a hard no, and he's like, oh, I guess not. You cannot skip them. And the problem is, in that mission, in the dev stream, I think it took up like 3 or 4 minutes of the dev stream, because the cutscene was so long. It was where you go through and you're walking through the bar and you have to eat. A spoiler alert, I guess, for those. I mean, it's just a very simple scene. You eat the bug thing at the table. Anyways, yeah, you have to eat the nasty plant. But that scene was pretty long. It was at least a few minutes. You cannot skip it, so you have to watch that every time. And the fact that it's the same one every day, that you can repeat it, you know, it's going to take you 5-10 minutes to beat the mission, and then you're sitting there at the cutscene for another 3 minutes. The fact that they do not have a skip option completely boggles my mind, because people will do it once and be like, man, I cannot sit through those cutscenes anymore. So this feature, while it's being implemented as a new feature for this, I feel like it's already going to get swept under the rug, because people are going to be like, this is more annoying than it is enjoyable, so this is not new content, because they've already seen that cutscene if they've beaten the game. And the fact that they can only do the same one and it's random, it's just, people want to do things in order. I want to remember the game start to finish. That they should have done is released missions 1 to 6 and let us play them from 1 to 6 and experience them and skip the cutscenes at the end. Boom, there's a nice chunk of content. We can play through that on GM3 multiple different times. That would have been fun. That would have been new content. But what I'm seeing here is just, it's frustrating. How do you guys feel about it? I know I'm ranting a little bit, but I'm not entirely happy with the new legendary missions. And at the very end of the legendary mission, the devs opened up a chest. I'll bring up a clip of it here on screen.
Please be something good. Purples and blues.
So how about those new drop rates, guys, right? All right, last segment of the video, let's go into the fixes. So they said performance improvements for weather, time of day, UI, and performance overall. So they're just, the game should run better in multiple aspects, and you can definitely see that with the Forge hopping in and out. That's part of the UI, so they're kicking things up a notch. Actors from the game are in mocap. They are adding in more story to the game currently, so they're working on new bits of story. That's good. They made salvaging a bit snappier. You can rapidly salvage now almost instantly. I guess I should have put that in the features, shouldn't I? Anyways, the salvaging was a bug before. It was broken and laggy, so it's faster now, it's snappier now. So I guess it's a fix and it's also a feature. The team is looking into component drops to be more specific for your javelins in future updates. Oh, this is a note here. 13 Word doc pages for the patch notes. So yeah, Jesse wrote up 13 pages in Word doc. That's going to be a big video next week that I make, guys. Probably like 30 minutes of me reading patch notes and highlighting certain things that are notable. So, wow. Buffs across the board for a lot of things. That's very vague, but that's something that they said. Fog walls have been removed, a lot of the fog walls, and the biggest offenders in the strongholds, such as the Temple of Scar. So those fog wall issues should be removed. Still working on quick play fixes. Seems like they haven't quite worked it out yet. So yeah, even with that tweet sent out the other week, we need your help testing. Seems like it hasn't worked for them. They still can't figure it out. So if you guys still experiencing issues with quick play, be sure to bug report that. Quick play, the odds of getting into a broken mission should be less now. What they did is they made it so you can't join a mission that's been in session for longer than 15 minutes or something, and that basically means that those missions that have been in play for 15 minutes that people just keep leaving are timed out. They're basically like an infinite loop of a broken mission, and people just keep joining, leaving, and it just, this game just keeps staying alive. So by having a 15-minute timer in there, you won't be able to join into that broken mission anymore. That was their solution to fixing quick play. It's a very band-aid fix right now. Okay, next is fixing a res timer where it resets back to 30 seconds if they stopped resing you. So just a little bug where you had 1 second left on your res respawn, somebody ran up to you, went to res you, canceled it, and you had to wait 30 seconds again to respawn. That's been fixed. They fixed a lot of scenarios that could cause you to crash. That's wonderful. Fixed an issue where players are unable to interact with things. I know that's been bugging a lot of people. They want to say a lot of Masterworks are being buffed for this patch. They didn't really specify which ones, but they said they think, so that's a thing. Some Masterworks are finally being fixed because there's still some broken Masterworks in the game. They think they fixed the health bar bug, so that might be fixed. They are looking at luck and thinking about it, but they have nothing to say about it at this moment. The quest with Matthias and Strongholds, making it so you can no longer select their quests from the map, are now fixed. That's great. And the pilot data error, you should see it less often. They think they've figured that one out. Some mob despawning is now fixed, such as the Titans. Someone would be attacking a Titan and you'd fly in, they disappear. That should no longer happen. Boom. That's a lot of stuff. Some pretty exciting things in there in terms of like the Elysian caches, but I'm a little concerned by when they said it's a limited time. It's a little bit concerning. The daily trials only having one a day. We can get it, just you can't really farm it, but it gives you something to log into every day, which is cool. And the bosses dropping loot is the biggest notable one. But the fact that it's not guaranteed, we might jump back into the game being all excited, go farm Tyrant Mines 5 times, and people go, never got a legendary, still got 1 masterwork. It's the same as before. That's my fear, but at least at the end you get that Elysian cash. So, but you're only going to get it the first time for the first time of the day. So you might get in there, get your cosmetics, be like, oh, that's cool, and then you run it 5 more times and notice that the drop rate's no different. But at least you'll be logging in every day to down that boss to get your caches, and then you'll notice, hey, maybe I did get a legendary one of these days. And then all the miscellaneous features are pretty cool, like the thruster duration, field of view. So lots of like little quality of life things, the forge instant loading. So pretty good positive stuff overall. I think it's a little bit of a win for Anthem, but the legendary missions, for me, it's just a big fail. It's super painful to see this drip feeding content randomly once per day, not being able to skip the cutscenes. It's like, the moment they implement it, people are going to be giving feedback on how they don't like it and how they want it better. It's like, just don't even put it in the game until it's done right. But that's my thoughts on it. And you know, it just, there was a lot of like, it's on our radar, we're investigating, it's complicated, we're working towards it, not this patch, nodding their heads. And I can't help but feel bad because there's just a lot of work to do on the game. And I don't know if they have the resources right now or what's going on, but it's just the list keeps getting bigger and bigger. Like, you add in legendary missions and then immediately people are going to be like, please add in a feature to skip cutscenes, please remove the random feature, let us select from a list. And now it's like, okay, let's divert our attention from this to that. And it's like every time they add something to the game, that also needs to be receiving iterations. And that's like the Elysian caches are going to come in. Are we going to see any bugs with that? And then we're going to need to see iterations to that. You're adding more to the game and more problems to the game when we haven't even fixed the core base of the game, and it's just really concerning to me. Anyways, still lots of positive stuff in this video here today. I feel like I just went downhill with the ending there, but it's, you know, we gotta be truthful about the situation here. But I still look forward to actually getting into Anthem for this next update. And it's been a while. It's been a while since I played Anthem. I'm really excited about bosses dropping loot and Elysian caches. I don't really care about the legendary missions. I might try it once and that'll be that. There's no incentive to do it. I hope to go into a stronghold and come out quite happy. But if I'm disappointed after a few tries, I'm afraid Anthem gets shut down for until the next patch again, unfortunately. So fingers crossed, but it's a step in the right direction. Boom. There you guys go. That's going to do it for me here today in this video. If you guys enjoyed, please be sure to smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more daily videos. If you guys enjoy the channel and everything that I do here, please do consider supporting it further through my Patreon. Link is down in the description below. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.